I pee with the door open. I've been peeing with the door open pretty much since the beginning.
What do guys not in relationships do? Do their toenails just eventually fall off or like poke through the fronts of their shoes? Dude, get in there. Ugh.
You just get into the business of living. I mean, there's no comparison between dating and marriage. It's a different animal. And of course, I think,
how
I mean, whatever. It's we all do it.
Hi, this is Daphne Brogdon from Cool Mom, and I'm taking as my launching pad for this Momversation, this article called "Till Children Do Us Part." It was a New York Times op-ed piece a few days ago. Basically, it's talking about how there used to be this conventional wisdom that said, you know, have a baby, hold the marriage together, and how really the research shows that, you know, babies are what my mom used to call them, homewreckers. I've had a theory for years that, you know, pretty much there's a 20-year statute of limitations on a marriage. I don't know many marriages that sustain beyond that, or rather ones that should have sustained beyond that. So I always think, like, have the kids quick, get them raised within the family before everybody explodes and the husband's with the secretary or the whatever. So, I mean, I think it's pretty easy to, you know, you fall in love with your kids and more than your spouse, and also you just get into the business of living. I mean, there's no comparison between dating and marriage. It's a different animal.
Daphne, you are bringing me down, girl. 20 years, and then you have like a expiration date stamped on your butt. I don't know if our marriage only has 20 years, but I do know that my life has been shortened by the stress of dealing with the baby's arrival. We definitely like talked to an outside person about just what our new roles were, like who's handling what and how we were gonna negotiate everything. And it was really helpful. And one of the things that was also really helpful early on is that we took date nights once a week. It just makes you feel so much more sane. And when we don't get that time, I want to kill him with my bare hands.
Hal and I both look at our marriage as a choice we make every day. Today I want to be married. Today he wants to be married to me. And tomorrow things might change. But I'm not going to put a number on anything. I'm not going to put it 20 years on it, certainly. You know, I think it's really important to remember that not to take your spouse for granted. We definitely take a few hours out of our days to just be together, whether it's like playing a game or, you know, just sitting on the couch with some tea, talking. I think a lot of couples, once you have children, stop talking about things other than your kids. And that's something that Hal and I really make an effort not to do.
I am not one of those people who's more in love with my kid than my spouse. And I kind of feel lucky that way, because I do think in some cases it's just sort of the luck of the draw. Hormonally, you can just be so biologically like driven to protect the baby and like admire the baby's perfectness, but I think it can become a question in a lot of marriages.
My kids come first. Totally. But at the same time, you try to keep the marriage together for your kids. I mean, for my own well-being, and I prefer to be married. But, you know, I think it's better for the kids if mommy and daddy are together and happy. And that's why it's good sometimes to ship them off to Auntie's house so you guys can remember how to do the naked mambo.
I'm not as concerned with keeping things fresh now as I am with just like keeping connected. But when we first had Hank, I was definitely paranoid about it. We went to the sex shop and I bought like all the stuff, right? And I think these are some type of like little tiny blindfold, or we have Gerda. Hello, gorgeous, you look gorgeous. You look gorgeous.
Do I put an effort into my parents? Absolutely. I'm not a sweatpants girl at all. But that's, you know, just as much for me as for him. Like I want to look attractive for him, for myself. And he is the same way. You know, he works out regularly. He manscapes.
You know, I tell my husband, you know, when I'm like, those eyebrows are looking like freaking James Whitmore. God rest his soul. I gotta clip them. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna just let him go to sea. You know, could make a little effort. I try to make a little effort. I think that's appropriate. You know, and I think you gotta, after you go into the bathroom, light a scented candle. You know, because those sort of domestic things, those intimacies can build up, and they're a turnoff.
I pee with the door open. I've been peeing with the door open pretty much since the beginning. And I fart too, all of the time in front of Hal. And he farts in front of me all the time too. I feel like if I wasn't in a marriage where we could fart in front of each other, like, what's the point of being married?
One of the nicest things about being in a long-term relationship is that you feel comfortable around each other, and so you don't want to like dismiss that as being something negative. It's a good way to model love for little kids who really need that. Like, they need that help choosing a mate later on in life, and so if you can't sort of be at ease in front of each other and laugh at each other's jokes and not worry when embarrassing things happen, it doesn't set a really good precedent for them in terms of like looking for a mate later on.
Yeah, it's important to have a comfort level. I think we really want to minimize the farting and the bathroom stuff, though. You know, I mean, it's inevitable that when you live with somebody that stuff comes up, but it's almost like you get too comfortable. And it's good because, you know, I'm sure he sees me flopping around in my slippers and whatever, and then when I do kind of turn it on and look a little cute, you know, that's nice.
And maybe this year I will be busting out the wig as well. Don't you think it's time? She thinks it's time too.
Join the Momversation at momversation.com.